Several references to Epsilon program, both direct and indirect, exist in Grand Theft Auto 4. There are hobos who believe aliens are trying to take their sperm, and soapboxers who rant about the paradise and how all others are slaves and damned. The Epsilon program plays a much more prominent role in Grand Theft Auto 5. The program's headquarters appear on Spanish Avenue in Rockford Hills, Los Santos, near the home of protagonist Michael de Santa. Early on in the game, the player can hear a Weasel News broadcast stating that the Epsilon program was denied religious status by the United States government and so can now be taxed. Michael can become a member of the Epsilon program. The main ideals of the Epsilon program are stated on their website. The religion's main deity is Kiflim, and members follow his 12 tenets. These tenets were established in the 3D universe, have been kept in the HD universe, but new goals and pledges have been created. Its robes and some of its beliefs are based on the realism religion. The Epsilon program is indirectly referenced a few times in Red Dead Redemption 2. The Epsilon program may be partly inspired by the happyism cult in Super Nintendo game Earthbound. They pursued absolute happiness and believed blue was a sacred color, so they wore blue and painted everything in blue. They also had a village dedicated to their religion, including farms and a warehouse. The light blue color scheme of the Epsilon clothes may also be a reference to the conspiracy theorist David Icke, who only wore turquoise-colored clothing, believing it helped channel positive energy. The belief by Epsilonists that the world was created in the 1800s is a possible satirical allusion to young Earth creationism, a religiously motivated form of pseudoscience which allege that the Earth was formed between 600 to 10,000 years ago, as opposed to established scientific studies which posit that the Earth and its life forms have evolved in a span reaching billions of years. All vehicles used by the Epsilon program's thesis holders are painted an unobtainable shade of baby blue, known as Epsilon Blue in-game, not available in Los Santos Customs. This naturally makes all of their cars quite rare. The only exception is the red bison and the black bison used in the mission Seeking the Truth. The headquarters and Vinewood branch, light blue color scheme, logo, connections to celebrities, and controversy surrounding the program are modeled after the Church of Scientology. If the player greets anyone while wearing the Epsilon robes, the person will respond with Kiflim. Similarly, if the player enters any store while wearing the Epsilon robes, the employee will say Kiflim. According to a Weasel News radio segment, the Epsilon program has been accused of everything from charlatanism and fraud to slavery and prostitution. Occasionally, pedestrians can be overheard discussing their participation in the Epsilon program. However, some will actively admit that they do not share the program's beliefs and simply join the cult in order to become popular. The logo of the Epsilon program can be found on the city seal of Los Santos, just above the escutcheon. On the EpsilonProgram.com website, they mentioned that by 2015, an Epsilon house of worship will be finished in Liberty City, and they will be building houses of worships in San Fierro, Jakarta, Rome, and Alaska soon after.